G'day everyone, we're back, and today we're going to do the reassembly part 2 of our Motorcraft 2100 carburetor rebuild. Having said that, let's get started. Now before we go ahead and get started reassembling everything, you want to make sure that all your linkages are moving freely, including your choke. We are going to lubricate these with some light oil, and you do have to. Check your choke plate. Make sure that's not sticking anywhere. It should move completely freely, and this one does. Now we're going to go ahead and open our bag for all our new gaskets and parts and see what we've got in here. Thank you to the Carburetor Doctor, and also to Mike's Carburetors, which was just awesome. When we tore ours down, we found that these were like horribly bent and destroyed. We had to get new ones, and he sent us these, and they're a perfect match to what we've got. So thank you very much. Careful not to cut any of the gaskets now. There we go. Now you'll notice in the kit here we have multiple gaskets. You want to take your old one, you want to identify which one you'll be using. You can see for our application it's going to be that one. Got your power valve gasket there. That's for our booster, for our annular booster. And these are for our base plate. That's for your choke. Now we're going to start by reinstalling our main jets. And you want to kind of try to start these by hand. It is a kind of a funny spot there. Just get them started, just like that. If you feel any resistance at all, stop. There's something wrong.
Cross thread is not better than no thread.
That's correct, contrary to popular belief. There's one. Now when you tighten them up, just snug. You don't want to drive them home. This is aluminum or magnesium housings, and you don't want to just crank it down. You just want them snug. That's good enough. And the next one, same thing. Rinse and repeat. There we go. We're just going to bottom them out just like that. And then we're going to give them like a 1/16 of a turn, if that. Just snug. That's all she needs. Now we're going to go ahead and flip her over. And we're going to install the power valve. Make sure we get all this old gasket material off of there too. We cleaned this pretty good, but if you need to give it a little extra love, that's fine. Now we're going to go ahead and install our new power valve. And one thing you do want to check for is check the thickness here. You can see this one's a little thinner, but it shouldn't be an issue. You just want to make sure you have clearance to the housing here. If it is too thick and it touches the housing, that's no good. You'll have to get another one. We could reuse this, but we've got a new one. This one's actually opened slightly earlier, which I don't mind a bit, so we'll get a little more fuel when we're leaning on it, which is just fine with me. So we're going to go ahead and install that one. Another thing you want to check for is you'll see this gasket sits in this little collar. And what you want to make sure of is when you crank it down that it's not sitting something like that. Make sure it is properly seated. If you're having trouble, you can put a little bit of light grease on the flange there, and it'll help hold the gasket in place. Just make sure that it is properly seated, because you're going to be installing it this way, and you don't want to like chew up the gasket and then it'll leak. If you just horse it down and it's not centered, you can destroy this gasket and you're going to get a leak. So be very cautious of that. We're just going to go ahead and do it without RTV or anything. I think we can pull it off. So let's go ahead and do that. You want to install it by hand, and we'll tighten it with a wrench. Just very carefully. You can see that our gasket is centered and it's going all the way down. And there we go. And we're just going to check that. Make sure we're centered. We're not sitting anything is out of whack before you crank it down. Just like that. So we tighten it by hand. Now we're going to go ahead and tighten that down. And don't go nuts. Just bottom it out and give it like a quarter of a turn. And that's all she needs. I'm going to go ahead and place the new gasket. Now place the housing. And you can see we're not touching. We've got a lot of clearance. It's not bottoming out on it. So we're in good shape. Install the machine screws. Try to just start them by hand. Now we're just going to snug them up. What I want you to do is just take them down, go corner to corner. Don't just do one side. You can get it, it won't seat the gasket properly. So you're just going to just start to snug them up, and we're going to do it in stages to bring it down nice and flat on the gasket. Make sure we've got a good seal. We don't use RTV if we don't have to. Go back here, and we're just going to do it in multiple passes, like a half a turn at a time. You can see that one was loose again as we brought these down. It means we're bringing it down nice and flat. Don't go nuts. Once again, aluminum housing, you don't want to strip these. That feels good. Now we're going to flip it over again, and we're going to do the accelerator pump. And we're going to open our next bag. This is for the float and needle assembly, and there is a part we need right here. You can see here we've got our inlet diaphragm. This is the old one, this is the new one. You want to match them up, and they are in fact the same. Now when you install this, we've got a neat little trick for you here. These can tear off and then it's no good. If it breaks there in that little joint there, then it'll just fall out of the carburetor. So I've got a little trick for you here. What I want you to do, take a little bit of light oil and just kind of just a little bit, there we go, just to make that slip. Now you can go ahead and install that. Make sure it's kind of wet. And what you do, slide that little guy right through there, and you kind of push on this side, and you take your needle nose pliers. I'm using Sarah's obviously because they're pink. You want to grab that guy. Hold on, I'm going to get a little better light in there so you guys can see. Okay. Make sure you're centered in the hole. Grab that guy and pull and push at the same time. There you go. You can see it seated. Once you see the big end pop through, you're good. You're going to check that, make sure it's centered, and that looks great. Okay, now we're going to take side cutters and we're going to cut off the excess. Just like that. And remove the little nubbin. Now, before you install it, I want you to inspect your new diaphragm for your accelerator pump. And we do have the correct one. There are 3 different kinds. There's one with a small plunger, which is like half the size of this one. We have this size, and if you're doing a 2150, it can have no plunger at all. So make sure you've got the right one or it won't work properly. Okay, this is the correct one, so we can go ahead and install this next. Now we're going to reinstall the lever arm for our accelerator pump. On this one, we had it on this position before. It seemed to work well, so that's where we're going to put it back. Reinstall it on this end, and now we're going to reinstall it on that end before we install this, because once you've bolted it down, you don't have any play to move this around, so you want to do this now. Now we're going to reuse the factory fastener. So what you do is, you can see these 2 tabs here. You push down on that, slide it off of the rod. Okay, to install this, you can see there's a little notch there. Put it in the lever arm like that, and then rotate it, and now it's locked down. Okay, now on this, we originally, when we took the carburetor apart, it was on the 3rd hole from the top. We're going to try it at the 2nd, and if that's too much fuel and she's running a little rich, we'll bring it back down. But yeah, usually they're 2nd from the top. I have seen them on this one. This one was obviously like that. We're going to go ahead. As you go up, you get more fuel. So we're going to go up to the 2nd notch. So now, this could get a little tricky. You want to slide this on. Oop, we got it backwards already. You want to slide that on like that. Put your arm through the hole, push it through till it locks, like you can see that right there when the end comes through, and now rotate this down and clip it on the rod, and now it's locked in. Now reinstall the pump spring just like that. Now there's going to be tension on this. You don't want to press on the gasket's edge, you want to press on the center so you don't tear the diaphragm. Make sure your holes are lined up, and yep, that all looks good. Now install your 1/4 inch bolts. Once again, start them by hand. Now that you've got them all started, we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to bring them down evenly. Just seat them at first. We go corner to corner. Just getting them started. They're a little sticky. Work them back and forth. Don't force it. Okay, now once you've got all 4 just snug down, we're going to go corner to corner and just take them like a 1/4 turn at a time. Seat that gasket real nice. If the diaphragm has failed, this is a weep hole. If the diaphragm's failed, you'll see fuel coming out of here, and that's an indication that your accelerator pump is gone. Don't go nuts. These are just small screws. Very fine machine thread too, so take it easy. That's it. That's all she needs. It was a good chance to check. Everything is moving freely, and it is. That's functioning perfectly. You don't want any binding on this arm or any of these parts. You don't want to be rubbing the housing here. And that seems to be doing the job just fine. Next, I'm going to take some more parts out of our bag here. And what we've got here, we're going to reinstall the annular booster, which is right here. We matched up the gasket, so that's the one we want right there. We've got new check balls, which is nice. And you can see here, this is the bigger weight for our original one. Here's our original here. That's our original check ball, and he seems to be in good shape. We could reuse him. And this dowel basically just sits on top of the check ball, and it just adds weight so that when it shuts off the fuel, this seats that ball all the way down. What we have here, this is a heavier one, and we don't want that, so we're going to reuse this one. We don't need the heavier one, we need the lighter one, and it's not included in this kit. That one's just fine to be reused. In fact, this check ball is in really good condition. We may just reuse him as well. So let's go ahead and install these. Install your check ball right in there. Install the dowel. Now when you're doing this, we'll get to this in a minute, but you want to make sure you kind of jiggle this guy around. When you install the booster, and I'll show you this right now, we're going to put the gasket down. Put him right there so he's centered. There he is. When you tighten up the annular booster, you want to make sure this dowel goes in this guy. Make sure he's not hitting the edge and you end up tightening it down. You'll strip the threads, you can bend the dowel, so you got to make sure this guy goes in the center like that. So we're going to put him in now. Drop him right in there just like that. Install our booster. Just like that. You can see the dowel right there. Make sure our gasket is square. If you have to, adjust them with a small screwdriver, just like that. There we go. Make sure he's seated all the way down. You just want to jiggle him around a little bit like that. And there you go. Make sure this thing is properly seated before you crank it down. You want that just snug, just like that. Maybe a little more. There you go. Don't go crazy on it. Now we're going to go ahead and do the float and needle assembly. And it would help if I open the bag, which I'll do now. Okay. Now, if you want to, and I do, you can reuse this screen. It's in good shape, and all you have to do to see that it is, hold it up to the light. And this one is good. I already checked it. And if you can see through it, I don't want to shine it right at the camera, but you can see that's quite clear. We've cleaned it very well, so we're going to reuse that. So then you just grab this and pull it. You can see. I'm going to reinstall that in the new seat. Just like that. Install your new gasket. Just like that. We're going to install it in the housing. Once again, get it started by hand. This is a 3/8. Make sure that is square in there. Now it can be a little tight to the housing wall. Most sockets will fit, especially if they're 1/4 inch drive, but you'll notice it will be kind of tight. And just snug that down, just like that. Now we're going to be reusing our old float. This kit didn't come with one. What you do, remove this spring, just slides off the pin there, like so. You can use needle nose pliers, but usually you can just do it by hand. Slide that off like that. Okay, and now you can see we have both kinds. This one has the detent in it, this one does not. Both will work depending on your application. We're going to go with the one that matches the one we had. Now you can remove your needle and your pin. We can clean that, make sure it is turning freely, and this one is, so that's fine. We're going to put a little tiny bit of lube on that too. And there's our old needle, and here's our new one. Usually with these, it's this rubber on the end that goes. If it's in good shape, you can reuse it, but we've got a new one. We're going to install that. So let's do that. Your new needle and your retaining spring hanger. You just want to put it in the slot there like that. Okay. Just slide it on. Like I said, you can use needle nose pliers if you want. I just like to do them by hand. Just like that. Make sure it's turning freely, and it is. Clean any gunk off your pin here, off the shaft. Just like that, that's fine. Slide it back into your float. Hang your needle. It doesn't matter which way. You can put it this way. You can put it this way. Both are good. After you've reinstalled the needle, make sure your shaft is lined up. You see the notch there, and there's a notch right there. Make sure that's centered, just like that. Put your needle on, and then install your retaining spring. There's one side. Make sure it's all the way down. Just like that. Once again, check to make sure it's moving freely, and it is. That's ready to install. Now, one thing I would do at this point is there's usually a dampener spring that goes on this shaft and rests against the inside of the housing here, and then underneath the float there. This one never had one, and we don't have a replacement, so we're going to install it without it. It's not really necessary. I actually like to have it on there. All it does is it dampens minor vibrations from like when you hit a bump or something, and it kind of tones that down a little bit. It will work without it though. So we're going to go without it just because we don't have one. I'll get another one. I'll reinstall it later, guys. But this is when you'd put your dampener spring on. It just slides on the end. The tab goes underneath the float here, and the other arm will stick out like this, and you just bend it down and slide it in. It rests up against the housing right here. But we don't have one, so I guess we're not going to install it. And we go ahead, drop your needle into the seat, just like that. There your float's in. Now to lock this down, take a screwdriver, and I've got one right here. Tilt that so you guys can see it a bit. All you want to do is lock that just like that. And that's good to go. Now we're going to set the float. And all you do for this, they do give you this gauge. And you put that, just put it like that so you guys can see it. there's a measurement for it. You put that in there like that, and then you bring the float up to your height. But a general rule of thumb is just try to level the float with the machine surface on the housing, and that'll get you where you want to be. Now this one seems to be a little high. I'm just going to push that down a little, and you just bend it like that. Just till you're in adjustment. And that looks not too bad. There you go. Once it's level, you're pretty much good to go. Now we're going to go ahead and install our upper housing. Make sure this hole, you can see this guy here, that's for the dowel pin. Make sure it's not sitting like that, because that won't work. You want to make sure you're in the right position, just like that. Now we're going to take this little piece here, install it on our choke plate lever, just like that. Make sure he sits right on this flange here. I have that right. There we go. Just like that. Make sure you center your gasket. You can see he's through the hole there. Make sure this guy's sitting on the flange, just like that. Make sure your gasket's in place. It's kind of important. There we go, just like that. We're going to start putting the retainers back in. We're keeping our ID tag because that comes in very handy. Once again, just start them by hand. Just bring them down to snug. Make sure your gasket, check it all the way around, make sure it's seated properly. And this one seems to be. Same thing as before. Just for snug. There we go. We're going to go corner to corner. Now on these carburetors, the center stem actually retains the upper housing as well. Just take that down by hand, just to snug. Now we're going to go around corner to corner in a star pattern and bring it down evenly. So when you're doing a star pattern, you'll skip one and go to this one. On a 2150, there are 2 extra screws back in here. We're just going a quarter of a turn at a time. The center one, you can see how loose that is now from bringing the other ones down. That means we're going nice and flat. This is back to where we started. So we're just going to give him a quarter of a turn. On all the way around, go around one final time and check them. We're going to start here at the ID tag. That one's good. That one's good. Give them their final little snuggie. Last but not least, this guy. Perfect. Now we're going to reinstall our choke pull-off. This is a vacuum diaphragm. When you rev the engine and the choke's on, it pulls off, the vacuum pulls the choke off just for a second, so you give it a shot of air when you're warming it up and you're revving it a little bit. Should be right about there. Ooh, before you do that, put it through the housing might help. Okay, there we go. Just like so. I didn't have to take this off for this rebuild. You can leave it right on the housing if it's not malfunctioning or it's not leaking. This one isn't. But I wanted to show you guys how to remove it and how it works and what's inside it. What we've got here, just so you can see it, same thing as the arm on the accelerator pump. You can see the little notch. You can see the little slot in the arm there. So there we go, like that. Now we can turn it. I'm going to depress the spring a little bit. This is a very light spring. It's not as firm as the one on the accelerator pump. You just got to make sure as you're doing this that it is centered on that metal piece there. Just like that. See, once you've got it seated, make sure it is properly seated. You don't want it sitting sideways or anything. It can tear the diaphragm. Now we can bring it down. Just like that, and that is properly seated. Now we can put the bolts in. We're going to go ahead and reinstall these. Once again, start them by hand. This one can be a little tricky. Like that. Get him from the side. Good trick that works for this last one. See how I'm pushing it down with the screwdriver? Come off the head. There you go. Okay, now we're just starting to snuggie up. Okay, so we're going to move on to the other ones. These are 1/4 inch once again. Just snug. Make sure your housing is centered. There we go. Go around, same as last time. Just snug. Okay. And bring it down evenly so we get a good seal. This diaphragm leaks, you'll have no vacuum and it won't pull the choke off, and it'll stumble when you try to rev it when it's cold. Nice and snug. One final check. Yeah, that one's good. That one's good. That one's good. Okay, now we're going to tip her up. We're going to do our idle mixture screws. Now, if you recall, when we took our carburetor apart, you could see that one's really bent, and we didn't want to reinstall it in the carburetor. I'm surprised we were able to get it out without damaging the body, and we didn't. We still have threads and everything's good, so that's good. And we've got brand new ones right here and new springs. So we're going to go ahead once again, open the bag. Okay, and these are our brand new ones from Mike's Carburetor. You can see him on YouTube. Very cool guy. He does a lot of videos about all the stuff he has, and that's where we were able to find him and get these to replace. Now we're going to go ahead and install them. You want to compare them, make sure you've got the right ones. There are several different kinds. This is an exact match. So thank you, Mike, at Mike's Carburetor. What you're going to do, put those in make sure they are straight. Come on down here, Sarah, so you can see. Okay. Once again, get them started by hand. There we go. Make sure we're going in good. Just like that. Okay, and get the other one. Put your spring on. What these springs do is keep it from backing out from vibration of the engine. So that's all they're really there for. But you do need them. You can't install them without it. Be very careful with these. You don't want to damage them. I put these in last because we're not working on a stand. You can put bolts in here to elevate it off the table, and that's a really good idea. Actually, I just didn't have any, so we're doing it this way. The reason I'm installing these last is as you're working on it, as it's sitting on the bench, you can end up bending them. That's probably what happened to the old ones. When I got inside this carburetor, I noticed it had been rebuilt before, so this is what we do. Now we're going to go ahead. You usually just turn these by hand. What I want you to do to get started is you're just going to turn them all the way down till they bottom out. Don't drive them in. Just as soon as they bottom out, stop. Just till they're fully seated. You can use a screwdriver, but they've got little grippy things on them there. So just till it bottoms out, just like that. And what we're going to do to get us started, we're going to open them up and make sure that's seated all the way. Right. Okay, that should be seated. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with 1.5 to 2 turns out. And that'll get us in the ballpark. We can tune the rest on the car. You can reach these when they're on the vehicle. So this will get us started. This should get it so the vehicle will start and run. You may have to tune it accordingly once you've got it on. We'll show you how to do that too. Okay, so we're going to start with, that's half a turn. That's 1 turn. We're going to go half again. And we'll even go another quarter. Let's put them right there. Okay, that'll get us started. Let's do the other one here. Start by bottoming them out. These adjust your air to fuel mixture. Once again. Turn them all the way in. Now we're going to go. That's half a turn. That's 1. Going to go another half and a quarter. And that'll be good enough to start the car. We'll probably need a little more. Usually it's between 2, 2.5, depending on your application. Now we're going to reinstall the C-clip for the choke plate. I want to kind of get behind the rod with a screwdriver and push it all the way through like that. Oh, it is a tight spot. There you go. Make sure it's fully seated. There you go. Once again, we're going to make sure all the linkages are working good. This is our choke spring activator arm here. You want to make sure that's moving freely, and it is. Okay, there you go. And there's the kick down over here. This is your high idle cam. Here, I'm going to flip this around, Sarah, so you can see it a little bit. Right underneath there. This is your high idle cam, and that is your adjustment screw for it. You can see when you come off of there, that allows your choke plate to move. Okay. And when it's like that, we got to kick it off the cam. So we'll do that. Kick that off the cam, and now we can fully close our choke plate. And when you rev it, that's going to allow your choke plate to disengage, and there you go. That's where you get your high idle from when you start your vehicle. We're going to go ahead and reinstall our AC detent plunger. Now, this came off a 73 Montego. It had AC. This vehicle do not. But I'm still going to reinstall it. It doesn't hurt anything. What this does is, this is a detent plunger. I don't even think it's hooked up on this car, but it just runs off electricity here, so we can rig that up. If we ever decide to put AC on this vehicle, which we might, what this does is, if you have a lot of accessories being driven off the motor, when you stomp on it and let go really quick, this keeps the throttle from going all the way to the bottom right away. It gives it a second to catch up so that all those accessories don't stall out the engine. So what it does, it hits this plunger and then it slowly brings it all the way back down to its idle speed. You don't really need it if you're not running a lot of accessories, which we're not, but I'm going to reinstall it anyway just to show you how to do it. So what we do is, we've got a return spring right here, and that goes in that hole right there. So we're going to hook that up. It's a little bit tricky. You got to kind of, you can see it's a little squirrel tail there. Okay, so you want to kind of just feed them through the hole there, just like that. Okay, and now you'll see these little detent holes. There's one way up in there, sir, if you can get in there. Up here, there's one there, and there's one there. You can see these pegs here, they'll sit in the holes just like that, and then reinstall our bolt. And this just runs off 12-volt power, so it's not hard to reinstall if it's not hooked up. Now we'll match up our new choke spring housing gasket. This is the old one. This is the new one we'll be using. Goes right on there like that. We do have others. These we don't need for our application. Now what we've got here is, this was originally, you can see this tube here. Originally this carburetor ran off the heat of the motor. This is a bimetallic spring. And what that does is, as heats up this spring, it expands, and that's what moves your choke plate. When it's cold, it should be all the way down. You'll have to set it again once you've warmed the vehicle up to make sure that it is all the way open. If it's sticking, you'll see it like this, and that's not good. Your engine's going to run too rich, and you're going to get really lousy fuel economy. So we're going to install this right now, and I'll show you how to adjust this. You can see right here, this finger on the spring goes into this little slot right there. Okay, so make sure you hit it. You got to kind of make sure it goes on that fork. It's really kind of hard to see. Make sure you actually engage that fork. There we go. So we've got it on there. You can see, for its cold adjustment, you want it to just close. There
Meow,
goes
meow.
Punky. Always remember to pet the cat.
Yeah, it's a little far.
It's a little far. Okay, when you're adjusting your choke spring. Make sure you disengage the high idle cam. You can see I'm releasing it off the cam there, so that as you turn it, you can see the choke plate here. As you turn it, it's a little stiff. There you go. You can see it's moving. Now what you want when it's cold, which it is right now, you want that to just close fully. There, and that's a good ballpark to get you started. We're going to have to adjust it, make sure it's all the way open as well. When it's on the vehicle and it's warm, there's a warm adjustment as well. Now what we've got here is, this is an electric choke somebody's installed, and that's just fine. What you want to do is block off your heat pipe then, if you're not using it, or disconnect, which is what they've done here. This one's running off this. Both work just fine. If it's done electrically, it just goes to 12 volt power, and as soon as you turn the ignition on, it slowly begins heating the spring, and that's what causes it to release. With this older style, you can use either or both. I recommend that if you're going to use one or the other, block one of them off, but that's how they work. So just make sure that as you're adjusting it, release your high idle cam and then just turn it, and that'll get you in the ballpark to get started. Okay, you can see the choke plate moving. Just, oh, good Lord, and I just popped it off. Now I have to reset it again. Oh, I had it too. I had it. Now we're going to reinstall the retainer. Make sure it lines up with all the holes like that. And reinstall these. I like to start them by hand. And that should lock it down in place. And go ahead and reinstall the heat sink, or the heat shield, whichever you prefer. Get that started by hand. And once again, it's a 1/4 inch. Just like that. Our fuel filter. Put that's pipe thread, so as it's slightly tapered, so as you tighten it down, it'll seal. You don't really need any RTV or a gasket or any Teflon tape on there. This should do just fine, just like that. So I'm choking the wrench up this way. This way I'm not way down here putting 1,000,000 pounds of leverage on it. And that's good. Now we're just going to take a quick moment. Put some light oil on all the linkages. I need some more oil. Just like that. Everything should be working free, and we want to check that again. Oh, just beautiful. That's going to work great. Look at the accelerator pump go.
Nice and smooth.
Nice and smooth. Perfect. Well, that's it for today, everybody. I want to thank you all for watching. I hope this has been helpful to somebody out there. I'd like to give a big shout out to Flathead for the cool race car from the first episode there, and to Brad, who donated this, and we did put it to use. This thing has got to be older than I am. This was his father's, and he gave it to us and asked if we could use it, so we did. Thank you, Brad, from Boyd Auto Body. I want to give a shout out to the Big Drag. Thank you very much, big guy. You're one of those biggest supporters there. We sent you a coffee cup, and he does get good use out of it. And tell him not to light his cigarettes backwards all the time. I never do that, like never. So
Never have, never will.
never have, never will. Oh, my nose just got a little bigger there. I want to thank Sarah, my daughter, for all the filming and all the work she does around here at the garage, and all our supporters, Polly, Phoenix Adventures, Adventures with Edna, MC Speed Shop, everyone. Thank you guys so much. It's been a wonderful year. It's been a long winter, and we're so glad to be back in the garage again.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for your patience, for waiting for part 2 of this video. We got stumped for parts. We had a postal strike here in Canada, and we might get one again, it looks like. And we couldn't get our parts. We started this in the fall, and then it was 30 below. We don't have heat in the garage, so it's been sitting ever since then. And yeah, here we are. And have a good day, everybody, and take good care of each other.
Good night, everybody. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications.
Show them your nails. They match the truck. Kind of. I don't know. You don't have as much patina as she does. But yeah, thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
Good night, everybody.
We'll be back soon. Cross your fingers.
Woo!
Woo!